Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? I just want to do, hopefully, a quick critique of the debate between Erika and Nephilim on the global flood sediments and such, because there's so much that like I said, the secularists, the uniformitarians, the evolutionists, the naturalists, or whatever, the unbelievers, they don't understand about the global flood because of the simple fact that they disregard known facts, just known facts. They disregard known facts. So I want to go through it a little bit and maybe talk about some of the points. Because I do believe in the breakup of the continents too, so that would be a little bit different than what a lot of creationists believe. Uh, but it's really almost the same thing, except that I think I have more information, more evidence that what I'm saying is true. So, start. I'm not going to play the debate. You can play it if you want. Flood of Noah, on trial, Erika versus Nephilim free. Okay. So, let me start at the bottom with my comments on the bottom because that's where it started. Of course, the maker of living organisms, the maker of the atoms, the elements, and programmable matter, of course, knows how to make a boat. So that is not too complicated. I noticed somebody mentioned that it was made of reeds or something. It really doesn't change anything, except that probably wasn't. But, it's still a fact that we got off. We made it. We survived the global flood because of the ark. We and all the land animals that were on the ark. Of course, you didn't have to have insects on the ark because they don't breathe through the nose. And you don't have to have any sea life, which includes penguins. Probably didn't have to have sauropods either because they're aquatic. And, of course, they didn't all survive, but some of them, if they're aquatic, could have survived, and many did survive, the aquatic animals. Same goes with everything else, insects. Many didn't survive, some did, but the land animals wouldn't have been able to survive that kind of cataclysm. But anyways, the we do have a history of getting off the ark in Turkey and spreading out from there. We do have a history of Egypt being Mitzrayim, that the Chinese are basically Japhethites and also Nimrod. We found the Y chromosome of Nimrod, who never even went to Africa to see Y chromosome, found throughout all Asia and all the way to Americas and Australia. That's the son of Cush. Cush is one of the sons of Ham. The other son of Ham would be Mitzrayim and Put. Put is the father of the Phoenicians. Mitzrayim is the father of the Egyptians. Cush is the father of the Ethiopians and Cushites, but the East Africans, who also spread out into sub-Saharan Africa. One of the Cushites went all the way to Tibet and Burma and Japan and Siberia through Siberia. This is just following the DNA evidence. So we do have a lot of evidence of civilization beginning at the time of the global flood, because if you trace back even the ancestry of Zeus, it goes back to the time of the global flood. Every calendar goes back to the time of the flood. Every historical record, genealogy, and see, calendars, genealogies, historical records, they all go back to the time of the global flood. Nothing goes back before. Abraham was a Sumerian. Zeus was born after Abraham. There's just so many facts that people disregard. Abraham was a Sumerian from a Sumerian city, and his Y chromosome is a JY chromosome. The family tree is clear, distinct, very distinct, the JY chromosome, all descendants of Abraham, and possibly the IY chromosome as well, which went up into Europe, Scandinavia, and became Vikings and Anglo-Saxons, which invaded Britain, and many settled up in the Scotland area, which is where my ancestry comes from. And I'm an IY chromosome. So we do have the history, the known history, all the facts, calendars. I mean, there isn't any history going back beyond the global flood, because you can't make up history that's not there. People try. They say, oh, there was cave paintings. Yeah, but that's not, it doesn't have a date stamped on it. It's not a historical record, genealogy, or calendar. And of course, there's Göbekli Tepe, which is ironically in the area where the ark landed. There's other civilizations, very old, in other places in the Middle East as well. And of course, we're anxiously awaiting the uncovering of the temple artifacts from the original tabernacle. And many, many treasures from that time, which I believe Jeremiah was able to hide from even the Crusaders and the Islamic people. They weren't able to find it, but some detective from Oklahoma looked at the treasure map. It was stamped in copper so that it would last thousands of years. He looked at it, and in 5 minutes he interpreted it and found out where many of the artifacts were buried, and eventually he's found as many as 54 locations where the artifacts are buried, and there's as many as 57 or something like that. But when they start uncovering these temple artifacts, everybody's going to be in awe at the fact that Israel was a real nation. Moses was real. Israel was real. The tabernacle was real. all the implements of the temple, the sacrifices and everything, the basins, the wash basins, all the pitchers and everything will all be recovered. And it's going to be an amazing thing if we ever live that far, live that much. But hopefully, within the next few years or so, they'll be coming out with this stuff, and you know, and we'll be saying, "I told you so." You didn't believe a simple historical record or calendar or genealogy, and because you thought you knew better. You're all the scientists are going to be trying to hide themselves because everybody's going to be laughing at them. But anyways, and we're going to be saying, "I told you so. I told you so." It's the same thing with DNA. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. The Africans are Africans, descendants of Ham. We told you so. I mean, now we have the Y chromosome proving it. And the curious thing is that not all Africans are black or dark skinned. The Cushites are dark skinned. The Cushite is one of the sons of Ham. And the other son was an Egyptian, the other son was a Libyan. The other son was a Canaanite, but he's no longer has any descendants on the face of the earth. So the Bible is true again. The Bible is always telling you the truth, and people just doubt it and doubt it and doubt it. Should have never doubted the historical records, especially the biblical historical record, which is the record of truth. And it always tells the truth, regardless of who it was or what status or position he had. There's no attempt to hide any of the gory details. Of course, if you study the history of the church, it's hard to know which is worse, the history of the church or the history of Israel. Because, both the church and Israel have their issues, Of course, not everybody was actively participating in all the bad things that happen. And not everybody living today is either. And so we pray for our Jewish, relatives or whatever. We pray that they, come to know their Messiah, the Messiah of Israel, who is to rule all nations. That includes everyone. So, and it gets complicated if you want to try to define a Jewish person or define someone. Try defining white or defining a black person or defining. I mean, you can with a Y chromosome, you can define every family tree, but you can't put a line between, say, this is black and this is white, because there's everything in between. There's just a different amount of melanin that determines if you're black or white. And that is determined by the numbers of copies of the same information that we all share as human beings, because human beings are what they are, depending on the numbers of copies of the same information that we share, or that is activated or utilized. And that's what determines what we are, or who we are, what we are as human beings, or which family tree that we are from and stuff. But anyways, that was a long comment for the first comment. See, one of the comments was that there is a record saying it was a rough ride inside the ark, because a lot of times people say that it's just a fantasy or imagination that people were on the ark, but it was rough. I mean, according to one of the book of Jasher, if you regard it in any sense, they were saying that they thought they were all going to die. It says there, because of how rough it was inside the ark. Now it says in a different way that people might have a problem with. It says the animals thought they were all going to die. That there were, it says something about the animals saying they're all going to die or acting like they were. Anyways, but it probably wasn't, a joyride. It was probably pretty scary inside the ark, because the earth was being destroyed outside the ark. So that's just another record, another testimony as to the fact of the global flood, because it's not the only thing it says. It basically has the same story with different details. So I'm saying here, ever wonder why there was so much rain? Well, once the atmospheric pressure decreases, the water is able to condense out of the air and fall to the earth. Then any vapor or moisture as a result of the rising waters and such, would have returned to the sky and would fall out of the air again as soon as there was enough moisture in the sky. But to rain 40 days and 40 nights, that's a long time. So there was a lot of water in the atmosphere, in the air, before the pressure dropped, because that's when it rains, is when there's low pressure. It forms clouds. You form clouds, and then the droplets stick together, get bigger, and fall to the earth. Okay, and evaporation causes a cooling effect, of course. You know that every time you go outside, if you're wet in the below freezing, it's not a good idea, because the evaporation will cool you down a lot more. So even if it's not even freezing, you can still have hypothermia because of the effect of the evaporating water if you're wet on your skin and on your clothes. Okay, and this is where I would disagree with a lot of mainstream creation teaching, is that there was a breakup of the continents 100 years after the global flood. In the days of Peleg, Peleg was named Peleg because of the breaking up of the continents, because the earth was divided. When that happened, people separated into family groups, because that's what you do when something dramatic happens. You go run to your family, try to help your family, and then that's when they started speaking different languages, because they isolated into family groups. And then they started spreading out after the breakup of the continents. So that's the reason why the jaguar made it to South America and separated from the leopard. That's the reason why the greater grison made it to South America and separated from the honey badger. And that's the reason why all the other South American animals made it to South America and the people didn't. Because for 100 years, people were trying to build the Tower of Babel. Then the continents broke apart. Then when they did spread out, the continents had already broken apart. So none of the descendants of Cush, the Cushites, when they settled in sub-Saharan Africa, none of them made it to South America because it had already broken apart. But there was one Cushite who was named Nimrod who went the other way, didn't go to Africa, never went to Africa. He went the opposite way, went east, and his descendants, direct line male descendants, are all over the world going east. They're all the way through Asia, through the Melanesia, Micronesia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Australia, all the way through the southern regions and north all the way through Alaska. Of course, Siberia, the Mongolians, Siberia, and the New World, what's called the New World, all the way through the Americas, through North America, all the way to the northern tip of South America. You'll find the CY chromosome from Nimrod, who was a Cushite, descendant of Ham. As I said, Ham had 4 sons: Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan. And Nimrod was a Cushite, descendant from Cush, which is that's the reason why you have the influence of the Cushites in throughout the Pacific and Asia, even Tibetans, Burmese, and Paleo-Siberians and Japanese and Jomans have a DY chromosome. So, and that's another descendant from Cush, another Cushite. And there's an island, an Andamanese island, where the DY chromosome probably, spread out from. So, and they're real people. They tested their DNA. So, let's see. So yeah, there's a breakup of the continents, and the people only spread out after the breakup of the continents. That's why the Cushites only made it to South America going east instead of west. And it's only the CY chromosome that made it to the Americas. So, and the other Asians are Japhethites. The other Europeans are Japhethites, with the exception of probably the Semitic, what do you call it, autosomal DNA. Yeah, the other lines of genealogies. But otherwise, Europeans are Japhethites the same as the Asians are Japhethites. The Europeans have Neanderthal DNA in the same as the Asians have Neanderthal DNA in them, because of the fact that they're basically both Japhethites. The only difference is that the Europeans have the other influence of probably mostly Semitic lines of genealogy. And some of the Asians, of course, have the influence of the Kushite uh, ancestry. So DNA doesn't lie, and it proves the global flood. That proves the known human history. If they had studied history before they try to do science, they would know a lot more. Okay, and I'm saying please don't ask. This is for the opposing side. Sorry, Erika. Please don't. Please don't ask why rabbits didn't live on the seafloor or burrow under the seafloor. Because when you're talking about the Cambrian and the Precambrian, you're talking about sea life, and the Precambrian is below the ocean floor. It's below. It's not only below the ocean floor, but it's below any of the layers. I mean, it's mostly igneous rock, but with the exception of sediment layers from before the global flood that were already there. So you wouldn't expect to see rabbits before the global flood underneath those layers that were deposited by water before there was any life on Earth. If you know what, you follow what I'm saying. Okay, so no, there were no rabbits living in the sea. That's SpongeBob imagination. And they didn't burrow under the seafloor either. So don't expect to find them there. Then I say they literally put fossils in the layers that they believe they were in. So whenever they find a layer, they use whatever fossil it is to determine what layer it belongs in. And they say, oh, this is such and such a layer because that's where they believe the animal existed, in that layer. So you know they made a lot of mistakes doing that. And as a matter of fact, if you ask Ian Juby, there is no such thing as a fossil record. It only exists in three places: in the museums, the textbooks, and in people's minds. It doesn't exist in the real world, the geologic column. The fossils are there. They were buried by the global flood. And Nephilim was right in a debate. You can't have millions of years between water deposited sediment layers. That is contrary to everything scientific that there ever was proposed. You cannot have millions of years between water deposited sediment layers with no erosion between the layers. If there's water deposited sediment layers with no erosion, that means there was little or no time between the layers, that they were deposited in rapid succession. That's the whole point of the sediment layers. And it doesn't matter where you find the fossils anyway. The point is that there was a global flood that buried everything. Now, if you want to go back and try to figure out how it all happened, fine. As long as you understand that it was a global flood that deposited everything. Because that's our known history, that's our geology, that's what the evidence shows. The evidence shows a breakup of the continents. India has glaciers going from south to north because it was in the south before the breakup of the continents, 100 years after the global flood. That's another line of evidence for the breakup of the continents. When they named Peleg, they named him Peleg because it meant divided, because the earth was divided. That is the Hebrew. When they started speaking Aramaic, instead of Peleg meaning divided, Peleg came to mean as the waters flow. So the division of the continents, they would refer to the division of the continents not as the division, but as the waters flow. In other words, they would refer to the division of the continents as the water in between the continents. Okay, so they literally put fossils in the layers that they believe they were in. Okay, here's a nice one here. Nice comment here. Egypt was founded by Noah's grandson Mitzrayim. His descendants have an E3B1 V12 Y chromosome. His brother Cush is the progenitor of the Cushite. He has an E3B1 V32 Y chromosome. Their other brother Put, the Phoenicians, I guess they're called Berbers now. The progenitor of the Phoenicians has descendants with an E3B2M81 Y chromosome. Notice the designation of these Y chromosomes. They're all E3B. Of course, it's just a label anyway. So it really doesn't mean anything, but they're all E3Bs. The rest of Africa doesn't have E3Bs. It's either A, B, no C's, no D's, E1 something or other, E2 something or other, E3 something or other, but it's E3 something or other, something different than what this is. So it's just a label. It's not an indication of which came first, which is what they want to prove. That's why they named it the Sub-Saharan Africa. They labeled them A. And then they found A, then they found, or A1, that was designated A1. Then they found somebody that had a larger genetic distance. So they named him A0, going backwards. Then they found another person with a larger genetic distance. They named him A00. Then I even think they found another one that has a larger genetic distance in his AY chromosome. So they named him A000. And all that means is a faster reproductive rate. It doesn't mean anyone descended from him or even from his line, except people who are in his tree. People in the other trees, and they're probably the Cushite tree anyway, as far as I can tell, because I don't have all the data. They belong to the Cushite tree because they branch off from where the CY chromosome is, which is Nimrod, the son of Cush. So there's two more branches of the tree, which is Mitzrayim, which is totally absent from the data there that I have, and the Phoenicians, which is Put, is another tree. But for some reason, they don't include that data or ignored it because they were looking for the person, the line that's supposed to be from the original first African. But I hate to say we told you so, but if you don't go by known human history, you're going to put your foot in your mouth, and you can be sure of that. Okay, so the animals had 100 years to reach South America while the people were busy building the Tower of Babel. All the sediment layers were deposited by the global flood, with the exception of some of the top layers. Neph is right. There's no such things as millions of years between layers. Evolutionists, uniformitarians have to believe, as they have to believe. Okay. Erika was looking perturbed, frustrated. Keep in mind that 50 million years would have eroded all of the sediment layers into the ocean. Now they believe, these evolutionists, uniformitarian, skeptic, unbelievers, they believe there is as much as 400 million years between one water deposited sediment layer and another water deposited sediment layer. And between each successive layer, there's either like 200, 300, 150, or whatever million years between the layers. Each of the layers missing. That's just absurd. Totally absurd. They're just, picking at straws, trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. That's not there. Okay. Can't be a scientist unless you learn known human history first. Every calendar, genealogy, and historical record is no more than 5,000 years old. That's the Hindu calendar, the Mayan calendar, the what other calendar? Chinese calendar, actual calendars. I'm not talking about, making up a calendar, but actual calendars. There's a Mayan calendar, Hindu calendar, an Egyptian calendar, and they're all 5,000 years old, probably starting with Noah. There's a reason why it's 5,000 years. Because if you add the age of Noah living before the global flood, it'll come up to about 5,000 years. So, and of course, the Bible has history from before Noah, because Noah, and they have his genealogy going all the way back to Adam and Eve. And we know exactly how many years it was between the flood and the creation of Adam. It's 1,656 years exactly, because of how well the records were kept of the genealogies from before the global flood. Okay, so that's that. It's a pretty good debate. Not horrible. So you can check that out if you want. And let me see if there's anything going on. I got Honesty Angel, got Illuminati, I got Iger. Earth is only about 6,000 years old. Noah flood was about 4,400 years ago, and Jesus Christ walked the earth about 2,020 years ago. There you go. All right. I guess I don't expect anybody to want to join, I guess, or probably not. So let's see how long I've been going. I don't even know how long. Where's the timer in this thing? No, oh, there's a timer. Yeah, not bad. So I guess I'll just cut it off about here. But never, never, never disregard known human history. If you want to be a scientist, you want to know history, you know, want to know facts, what the facts are, never disregard known historical records, calendars, and genealogies, and that kind of data. Because if you do, you're just gonna put your foot in your mouth and say stupid things and make yourself look bad. So that's about it. All right. Nobody wants to join. Oh, I didn't put a link, but I don't think there's anybody there, right? I don't think so. God bless you, Iga. Iga Television. I hope that's not like Vision. God bless you, Honesty Angel. Good night. Like some people have visions and some people have television. That's an inside joke, I guess. South America inside joke. Anyway. Yep. So yeah, just to make sure that nobody misses a chance to join if they want to join. There's C all the way to South America. That's the descendant of Nimrod. He was a great hunter and great in the earth. He was a king in Shinar, this area here. And lo and behold, look at here, we got, and he's the son of Cush, right? He's a Cushite. And lo and behold, here's his DNA right here, all through Mongolia, Siberia, all through this region over here, down here, Austronesia. Oh, that's Taiwan, I think. Well, we got the Negrito here, but you also have the CM130. This is the Kushite. Of course, the dark-skinned people is influenced from the Kushite. It's the autosomal DNA from Kushite. Where you get, and then you got the actual C2 here. Of course, you have it all over Micronesia, Melanesia, Polynesia, C2, C2, and C2, C2A. So, and we have C4 in Australia. Oops, and I'm not even sharing. But anyway. Oh, look what we got. Hey, Agra. Sorry about that.
Sorry, bro. How you doing today?
Thanks. Hello.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
What's new, man? How's New Jersey treating you?
It's all right. I just want to go back to my treehouse.
Good lifestyle
Yeah.
away from all the crazy people.
I gotta fix up the house. I got the roof being fixed, and I got the front windows and doors fixed, changed, or whatever. Just trying to get things in order. I gotta go to my work tomorrow, maybe. I mean, not to work, but to do some paperwork, whatever. But other than that, I'm hoping
Sounds good, bro.
they'll offer me something to retire. If they offer me something to retire, I can retire. and then I can go back to my tree house.
You don't want to build a regular house in your property?
No, I think I'll just buy another house nearby. That's what I was looking at last night and stuff. Just
Smart.
because they got some good houses. You can get a really, really good house for $160,000.
And that's probably what it'll cost you to build a brand new house, probably.
Yeah, some of them are that price, but the thing is, you got to watch out for the taxes. The taxes are higher, probably. So, you know, you want to find a
Yeah.
place that's nice, you know, away from the populated areas with lower taxes.
You said your property's in Kentucky. No. Uh,
No, that's Missouri.
Missouri.
Missouri is it's on the other side of
That's where.
Mississippi. It's on the other side of the
Right.
Mississippi.
Sounds a lot nicer than New Jersey. Cleaner air.
Oh yeah, I look up and see. I can see stars when I look up at night.
Not in New Jersey.
No, no, you might see one or two or three.
And I
So
live in the suburbs, and I can see a lot of stars where I'm at. I just got to go in the backyard. Even in the front yard, I can see quite a bit. Just
oh
getting away
yeah,
from all the trees or
no,
usually trees
not
around
where
here.
not where I am.
I don't know.
That's what.
I went to New Jersey. No, maybe not. I went
I
to
mean,
New York once.
I well, I'm not really in the suburb, but anyways, it's Newark is not a suburb, but
No, where I'm
they
at is suburbs. It's like each
but
house
they
got a nice
call
garden on it.
they call it light pollution. It's just that the light reflects off the atmosphere so much that you can't see the
Right.
stars. You know.
Yeah, it's not bad where I'm at. It's pretty good. I can see Scorpio tonight. It's out.
Oh yeah, I can see everything when I go to Missouri. I see a
Scorpio's
big.
like it's kind of like it's like Orion, where you can you can see it in the sky basically with the naked eyes.
Oh yeah, I can see the
So
Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Orion, and that's basically all I know anyway.
yeah, bro, you gotta get that app I told you. It's called Skyview. It's a free app on your phone, and
Yeah,
any
yeah,
night
I'll
that's
do that
clear enough,
one.
you can go outside and look at the
It'll
learn the
be
constellations.
it'll be worth it when I go back to Missouri. Then I can see the stars.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you live in the city, I guess, in New Jersey.
Right here, I'm in Newark. I'm where G-Man is. Newark.
Pretty big city.
It's it's a city. It's like a suburb of New York, or a lot of people that live here work in New York. Just take the train. It's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes on a train, or less maybe. I don't know. I think
Oh,
it takes a long time because you take a train and then it stops, and then you gotta wait, and then it goes and stops at every stop. And to me, it takes like 20 minutes or something just to get to New York, even though it's not that far from New York. If by car it's like 10, 15 minutes or less, whatever it is.
I'm supposed to be working on my Illuminati introduction, but I'm slacking. We'll probably leave it to the last minute and just just probably
Oh,
not make one and just go in.
Illuminati's. Okay.
Yeah, that's Saturday's my debate on modern day debate.
Oh, Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get some research and you know get the
Bro,
latest information.
you could just Google Illuminati, comes right up. They got a whole Wikipedia page about it.
Oh, that'd be interesting if you're interested. I'm not that interested in it, but if I'm interested in something, I search it out.
Mentioned the synagogue of Satan is mentioned in the Bible a couple times too. And then you got Ephesians 12 where it talks about the powers, principalities of darkness and high places that we wrestle against. Ah, man, I better memorize that passage.
Yeah.
I'm just screwing it up. But yeah, that's they're there, bro. Army has Satan has an army, and they use us to deceive us about evolution, about Big Bang, and all the
Yeah.
actors and pop artists there. They do their one eye symbolisms, their devil horns. Back in the days, you used to have to play the records backwards to hear the Illuminati messages. Where it said like "Hell Satan" or something like that. Now they just come out and tell you to your face. They don't even hide it anymore.
Yeah, well, they do seem to flash signs and stuff like that, don't they?
And also that, yeah, they got the devil horns, which is also the "I love you" sign and for sign language. And
Yeah.
then they got 666, 666 over the one eyeball.
Well,
Yep, yep. But you did a great job, man, presenting the young Earth creation.
yeah.
When are you going on Modern Day Debate again, man? Like when I saw you on Modern Day Debate, I was like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about, and that's the reason I started following
Well,
you. That's the
it's
first time I heard you.
it's because I had a bad signal. I got a good signal right now, but by the time you schedule a debate, I might not be in this area. But
Yeah,
somebody
should be
wanted
fine.
to do a debate with me. I don't forget who it was, but somebody wanted to do a debate. But I haven't seen him or he hasn't said anything to me recently. So, if he was around, I could say, well, I got a good connection now. So maybe he's running from me. I don't know. No, I haven't seen him actually. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, you did a great job on your one debate that I saw over there. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I think I actually did two.
I only saw one, but it was awesome. You were going over
Oh,
the
there
G
was
column.
there was one that was taken down because James thought it was too messed up, too bad, unpresentable. Because I kept getting kicked off the chat, but still, I don't know. It wasn't that bad. I don't think it was that bad. They said it was horrible, but they just don't like the content. I think I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
man. I've been trying to pull some videos, but a lot of them get blocked because you're using the music artist, and they get copyrighted
oh
for
yeah,
what I'm
that's
trying to
I
do.
don't like. Yeah, I don't like to use that stuff because of that. You get too many.
Yeah, but it adds
Make
and
a
it brings it
flood.
home when you hear like the rappers talking about it.
Yeah, they make a fuss about it. Yeah, I kept dropping off.
Well,
Kept I kept Illuminati says I'm dropping off. I was dropping off out of the chat in a debate, but I kept coming back and kept making my case and making my point, and then I didn't hear any decent rebuttal. But then again, it was who was I debating? It was somebody, Carnivorous Ape or somebody, Red Fang, Carnivorous Ape, somebody.
all
But
right, bro. I guess
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
let you
go
go.
study. You got to study,
I am. I'm gonna study some tonight.
memorize some verses, some good verses.
I just be like I feel like it's so obvious that the Illuminati is real. I don't even understand how it can be debated, but we'll see.
Oh, that's what it is debating whether it exists.
Yeah, like then you could just Google it, put Illuminati in your search engine, and an article comes out about how it was founded by I forgot his name right now, but in the 1700s, and then but
Um, they've always had people of influence or light or whatever.
And like I said, it's mentioned even in the Bible. John mentions it. It's like the synagogue of Satan is referenced in the end times. Revelations talks about the devil has an army that's going to make war against God, and it's just all over the Bible. It's all over Google. It's all over YouTube. You can just
Well,
there's
yeah,
so much
they're
content. I
they're
don't even know what
making
I could. I don't know how to fit it all in 10 minutes for an introduction. Like there's
they're
just too much to
they're
talk
making
about.
war they're making war against us now, all over
Oh, you
YouTube.
got it, bro.
All over YouTube, they're warring against us, and
Oh,
even the platforms war against us too.
yeah, you got it. Definitely, all the big corporations are basically controlled by Satan. So we're starting to see in our, especially with this COVID-19 now. Like if I told you last year that everything was going to be shut down, the basketball and the football and everything was just going to be shut down, you would think I was crazy. But here we are now, and it's a worldwide event. It's not, you can see how the grip of power and corruption it's actually
Yeah. Well, I was saying
encompasses the whole earth, not just
the only way people are going to pay attention to the coronavirus was if if they start shutting down the NBA and stuff like that. Then they'll notice. People will notice if they turn off the shut down the NBA and the football, NFL, and all that stuff. Then people will, realize that something's going on. And even the Olympics got canceled.
yep. And again, they're coming up, they're pushing more and more control, taking more and more rights away, and they're pushing their one world currency, one world government, one world religion, so they can have their one world leader eventually.
Yeah, because once I realized that it was worse than the flu, the common flu, which kills like 30 some thousand a year, and what are we up? We're almost up to 100,000 people now in the United States.
From the COVID-19, you think it's real? I think it's well.
It's, well, I
I
mean,
think I think it's
yeah,
I think it was planned. I should say. I'm not gonna say it's fake, but I think it was planned. Like it's
yeah.
all it's
Well,
all planned to gain more and more control, just like they use other
I don't
tactics of fear.
I don't think it was planned because it doesn't seem to me China was ready for it, and it doesn't seem to me like Trump was ready for it, or even Fauci. Fauci should have known about it. He didn't seem like he was knew what was going on. And I was hiding out in the woods in Missouri, and cause I knew what was going on, but they didn't know what was going on. As soon as I saw that it was, well, it was mostly because China was, burning people 24 hours a day and frantically building hospitals and stuff like that. So I said, this is serious.
Nah.
And locking people. They were locking people, welding people inside their homes.
I actually
Well,
think Bill Gates planned the virus. With he did an event called Event 201, like 2 months
yeah,
before the virus. According to Jay, he's been working on that for 4 years. So they've been planning for something like this. So Bill Gates here makes the vaccine. I mean, makes the virus. Now he's making the vaccine, which he wants to make 7 billion vaccines to populate the
if
whole world. They got something called quantum dot that they're planning to put in this vaccine, which is going to be like a little tiny mark on your wherever they put the vaccine at, so they can scan you later just to verify that you took the shot. It's called Quantum Dot. You could just Google it, and it comes right up. And it's also developed by Bill Gates. So Bill Gates is he also has the patent 060606 three times. His patent 2020 060606 that basically is for a new cryptocurrency. So I feel like Bill Gates planned the event. He's planning a vaccine. He's now in head of the World Health Organization because the U.S. pulled its funding. So he's the person that funds it the most. He's the number one funder.
well, if they did plan it. It was a few
So he's
people.
just
I
like
don't
Bill
think it
Gates
was.
behind the whole
I
thing.
don't think it was China that planned it. You know, if it was planned,
I
it
don't think so
was.
either, but I think they're gonna paint it that way because they wanna throw rocks also
But
eventually, I guess. And if they blame it on China, China's blaming it on the U.S. It's gonna,
well, what they're
and in
saying is
reality,
that
we're
China, the laboratories were careless that were handling the virus. The virus was proven to to pass between animals and humans because it had the key link that it needed to be able to jump from animals to human directly, and they knew that sometime ago, and they were very careless with the virus, and the virus just basically escaped the lab. Is what I believe. But
yeah, but whatever the
if it
situation
was a
may
plan, it was a
be,
plan by very few
if
people.
just Google event 20,
If it was planned, it was
yeah,
planned
it
only
was
by a
planned by
few.
Bill Gates
Yeah, by a few
and some few of
people.
his Illuminati friends.
Yeah, but I don't know how he would plan that, but you know, it had to be only a few people. But it seems to me like it was just escape the lab. So I don't know.
Yeah, I can show you if
But
you want.
they will use, you know, people will are opportunistic. They'll take advantage of a catastrophe like this to, you know, promote their own ends or, you know, what they want to do. They'll take advantage of a situation, you know, even if they didn't plan it. So,
Hey, I'll talk to you about it later, bro. I,
uh,
I gotta
uh,
go.
all right, yeah, well, yeah, I gotta go too.
All
Yeah,
right,
so
bro. God bless you, and I'll see you I'll see you later.
okay, all
All
right,
right, peace, bro.
all right, peace. Yeah, I guess it was Carnivus Ape that I had a debate with. Carnivus. All right, so that's about it. Yeah, the global flood is known in human history. There is no history other than that of the global flood. I mean, it's so glaring that if you know history, you need to go on that basis, on the basis that the global flood is a fact. Now, people like to say evolution is a fact, and it's not even a fact. There is no evidence of anything morphing from one thing to another thing and getting information that they don't have to be something else. That doesn't exist. But the global flood does exist. I mean, it is a fact. It is known history. And you need to accept it as a fact. If you want to be a scientist, you need to accept the fact of the global flood because it's a fact of history. It's a known fact of history. Now we have DNA evidence, we have archaeology, geology, genealogies, calendars, everything. All the evidence is of the global flood.